Okay. I know by the title of this video, it may seem a little jarring, surprising even, but I've seen a lot of people in the Sims community talk about how Paralyzed is going to be the new Sims killer or Enzoy is going to be the new Sims killer. And let me just go ahead and state this right now that there will be literally nothing that will replace The Sims 4 or the Sims franchise as a whole, at least for me personally. And I'm going to compare this to like your first love or your first wife, husband, or whoever, like your first relationship. You are never going to replace your first relationship. Like that person will always be your first love or your first husband, your first wife, your first relationship, your first everything, you know? There is no, oh, even if there's like a similar person out there or like that person has like a twin sister, twin brother, or something like that, and they act the exact same. There is nothing or no one that is going to replace the original. Or let's say another example is you had a dog, it was your first pet, your first dog. It was your first everything. No other dog, no other pet, no matter how similar in personality and looks, is ever going to replace the original. And I do feel like there's a lot of games out there that are in fact rivaling The Sims. And hey, that's a good thing. You know, I feel like The Sims EA needs some competition, some real competition. Enzoy, Paralyzed, and some other life sim games that are coming out in the future. But there is going to literally be nothing that will replace The Sims for me. In my personal opinion, considering that The Sims as a whole was the first simulation game for me that I've ever actually played with the whole life sim and everything, if anything, EA is actively killing off the Sims franchise as we speak. So there really is no need to have a quote unquote Sims killer or this game is going to be the new Sims killer or take over the Sims or whatever like that. I just feel like The Sims is actively doing that themselves. So it makes no sense to say that. But I also feel like for people to say that Enzoy will replace The Sims or Paralyzed will replace The Sims is also something that I feel, in my personal opinion, that doesn't make sense. Because if you grew up with The Sims, whether it's The Sims 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's something that's etched in your mind, in your heart, and that's not something that you can easily replace just because there's another life sim out there rivaling that game. Even if there's a company out there that replicated The Sims 3 or The Sims in a whole down to the minute detail, I still feel as if there would be nothing that can replace the original in my heart. I've always said in my videos that The Sims 4 has a special place in my heart, and that is still true to this day. Even though The Sims is slowly dying for me personally, and a lot of people are speaking out about everything, especially with the buyout being announced and everything like that. The Sims will and always will have a special place in my heart, but don't get that confused. Don't get that mixed up with just because it has a special place in my heart that I will continue to support the game, the company, and everything like that, even after the buyout is officially finalized. No. Even though this game has a special place in my heart and I do care and love this game so much, like I want to see this game thrive, but that does not mean I'm just going to throw cash or money at it just because it's my favorite game. It's my favorite life sim game. Does not excuse me spending any more money on this game or its company. And at some point, it really is just like I'm willing to see the game die so that way it can either revive itself or just stay dead. Because at this point, even if the buyout does not finalize in a couple of months, it'd still be the same situation where the game will still be in its glitchy and buggy state. Nothing comes out of this other than the fact that this game is slowly perishing, it's slowly dying as we speak. And I feel like for a lot of people, that's kind of obvious. And a lot of people know that, and that's probably why they're jumping ship to other Sims games or just trying other live Sims altogether, which again, it's not always easy to do to branch out to different things. But I also feel as if The Sims as a whole has a special charm to it. In The Sims 4, it has like this cartoonish type of style, while The Sims 3, being the first simulation game that I have ever personally played from EA or Origin back in the day when it was still Origin, goes for like this realistic tone, which those are two completely different styles. For me personally, I do like the cartoonish look style of The Sims 4, but I also like the gameplay of The Sims 3. So even though there's never going to be a Sims 5 because of everything happening with the Sims 4, and also because there's so much DLC after DLC for the Sims 4, I just feel like there needs to be a game where you have the cartoonish style of the Sims 4, but also the gameplay aspect of the Sims 3. That'd honestly be something I'd be down to play. Inzoid is very similar to that. Like, it does have some very cartoonish aspects, but you can tell that the company's art style was leaning more towards like real life, realistic people. And that's why when I see Inzoid, I see real people, like even down to the hair. Like, you can see single strands of the hair. You can customize the hair color, the irises. Like, it definitely does give realistic human being rather than like a cartoon version of a human being, you know? Or with Paralives, it's going for this more 3D cartoonish art style that's really interesting. It's not something I've really seen with any other life sim. And I guess that kind of throws me off a little bit because it's not something that I'm personally used to. But I'm still willing to at least see what it's all about and give it a try, even though the art style isn't my personal favorite. But if the gameplay is there, and the basic necessities for that game is there, then I really don't see what the issue is. With that being said, I also want to say that even though The Sims 4 is slowly killing itself off with its player base, and even the people who have put money into this game for years now, I do still feel as if for people who continue to play The Sims 4, play with the packs that they basically already have, that doesn't make them a bad person or anything like that. But I also feel like promoting the game despite having already playing with the packs that you already own is also just like a big no-no in my head, because you're actively promoting or influencing people to buy packs and stuff like that from a company that obviously doesn't deserve it and shouldn't get any more of your money. But at the end of the day, you do you with your money, whatever makes you happy and everything like that. But I feel like making this video was quite obvious because a lot of people have already said this, but I've seen a lot of people talk about how certain games that are rivaling The Sims 4, the simulation genre as a whole, is going to replace The Sims, or is going to replace The Sims 4 and stuff like that. And I just feel like there's really nothing that's going to replace The Sims 4 for me personally. I do feel like there's other alternatives for simulation games, but Sims 4 has a long history of dominating the simulation genre for games, and I do feel like it does have a lot of backing on its back, but that history and that backing that EA has, it's slowly dwindling before our eyes. But with that being said, let me know down below your thoughts and opinions on this. I'm pretty sure some people do agree, some people might disagree, but that's why I just want to say that this is also my opinion on the whole situation. But let me know down below what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.